Let's dive in, everyone. So, welcome back, of course, to another EMC Monday Mastermind call with Every Move Collective. Thanks for being here. We're going to be learning about building your GoldMine pipeline with veteran agent and coach Sherri Johnson out of Ohio, even though she's an Eagles fan, she's from Ohio. If you can put yourself on mute for this part, that would be great. And then obviously later on, if you have any questions, feel free to take yourself off mute and chime in. Before I introduce Sherri, just a reminder of who we are. Myself, Eva, Dylan, we run a top producing team out of Westchester County, New York and Connecticut. We also run the organization Every Move Collective here at eXp Realty, which brings you these bi-monthly masterminds to foster, growth, community learning, second and fourth Monday of every month. So we're really glad that you're all here. As always, we encourage you to be as conversational as possible. If you can turn your cameras on, we really encourage it, just so we can all feel like we're together. And you can use the chat, raise your hand. I believe Sherri is going to be doing a presentation today. So if you have questions as she goes, you can put them in the chat or raise your hand, and we'll stop and take questions along the way. But we're very excited to be learning from Sherri today. Sherri is a real estate vet with experience, not only as an agent, but also in management at brokerages, coaching, consulting. She's trained and coached thousands of agents, helped them, build their pipeline and grow their sales from, 10 to 20 to $50 million in annual volume. She was a regional VP manager and agent at Howard Hanna for 23 years, responsible for over 700 agents and managers doing, $1.5 billion in annual sales. And then she spent the last, I think it was 5 or 8 years at Berkshire Hathaway as both an agent and a preferred international coach. And we're really excited to have her here now and to have her on this call speaking with us and you all and learning all of the tips and tricks that she has to really building a bulletproof pipeline for bringing in clients into your business, nurturing that relationship and growing it into closed deals, helping families, etc. So I'll let Sherri introduce herself a bit too, and then we'll get going.
Awesome. Thank you. Hi, everybody, and good morning or good afternoon, depending on where you are. I'm at 2 o'clock, so I'm in Eastern time zone. Colby, thank you so much. It's an honor and a privilege to be here today speaking to all of you and helping you grow your business, taking it to the next level. I will tell you that so 20, I think it's 20. I'm supposed to say I started in 1996. That sounds better, right? It's like closer to 30 years. Anyway, so I did your job. Like I sold houses. I sold a lot of houses. I had 27 sales my first year. I'm going to tell you why that's important in a few minutes. Not the 27, but the first month. In a minute, I'll tell you that story. It's pretty funny. But I literally have been engaged at every level of this business. The last 8 years, though, I was an independent, Sherri Johnson coaching for top companies around the country as a preferred coach, not affiliated or employed by them, but just as a coach for everybody. And we do coach thousands of agents with this system. It is a game changer. The fact that you're on here, you're going to walk away today with exactly the how-to on not only what's in your pipeline, but like, how do you look at leads? I want to revolutionize the way you look at a lead because we're missing opportunities. Okay. And we're going to build a pipeline that ensures you never have the roller coaster ride of revenue every day, every week and month, right? This income roller coaster ride that you're on. You sell a house, you don't sell a house. You sell a house, you don't sell, that roller coaster ride. So this system will create predictable and consistent monthly income. Two things I know most of us in real estate have never really had a consistent or predictable system to do that. It also, I think, is scalable and duplicatable, which is what's so great about it too. So when I say you can double or triple, that's literal. It doesn't matter what income level you're at, what production level you're starting at right now in this call, or how many years of experience. We have agents that do 200 million. They were at 140. We put the GoldMine Pipeline system in place. They did 200 million. So it doesn't matter whether you're a brand new agent or whether you're a seasoned veteran or a top agent right now. What matters is I'm going to help you today change the way you look at your pipeline and how you look at leads, how you decide whether you're going to put somebody on the pipeline or not, and how you maximize every one of those opportunities. Do I have sharing privileges to pull up my deck. I think I do.
Yes,
Yes.
you do.
Oh, it says someone else is sharing, so I gotta request it. So
Yeah.
while I'm pulling up my slide deck, I will be monitoring the chat, and I will have I'll be able to answer questions on the fly, but I also can save some room. I do talk fast, and we are recording this, and I believe, is the recording available for everybody? Is that how that works?
Yes, we actually posted on YouTube for everyone to
Love this
see that.
group. Love this group.
And Sherri, we have Dylan, who's on my team. He's also my son here. He
Ah.
monitors the chat as well. So that
Perfect.
if, don't worry if you're missing anything in the chat, he'll pause us or say something out loud if he sees it.
Perfect. And excellent. I would encourage you. I do have a couple of downloads. If you guys are interested, you can take a look at the downloads and get a copy of the GoldMine Pipeline. This is a free strategy. This is not something you have to pay for. So I'm going to give you a copy of it, as a matter of fact. So get ready for that. I also want to say that I see Dylan. Hey, how are you, bud? And I think we need to mute somebody. Anyway, what I want to tell you is, so 29 years, whatever it was, in 1996, when I got my license, my dad said, like, you might not sell a house for 6 months. You might want to get another job. And my parents were self-made, very successful people. They started a company. Neither of them had gone to college. They had $500. They were wildly successful in a commercial printing company that they were able to sell when it was not for sale. So they have done phenomenally well. I was had the privilege of growing up in that and learning from them. Work hard, extremely hard work ethic. But my dad said, you might not sell a house for 6 months. You might want to get another job. And I was like, that's not happening. Like, if I don't sell a house in 6 months, like, this is a colossal fail, and I'm going to have to get like a whole new career. And I was 26 years old in 96. I had a car payment, a condo payment, and a really high shopping habit. Okay. Which I probably arguably still have. And I was single and I didn't have any kids. And I was like, it's do or die. Like, I'm not asking Dave Johnson for money. And, I was like, I got to do this. I can't, it's not taking months. We need sales immediately. And so my very first month, I'm so happy to tell you, literally fear of failure. I had 5 sales my first month. And one of them came from a Sphere person, someone I knew since 2nd grade. Thank you, Tim Crenn. He bought a condo for me. And the other 4, listen to this, came from one house. I had a floor call. I got my first listing. I sold it myself at the open house. That's 2 sales. The people who bought the house had a house to sell. I sold their house. And then I picked up a 4th sale from a buyer from that open house. Okay. So I have 4 sales from one house. And if you've been licensed less than 5 years, you're saying, what? It's not even possible. Okay. If you've been licensed for a long time, you're like, yes, that's how it always was. You didn't want the sign to come down, right, Eva? Like the sign, you got sign calls off of that listing forever. So here's what I want to tell you. Immediately, I was like, this is how you do real estate. You list one house and you sell a lot of houses off of that one house. And so there are strategies in our coaching program, like how to make $50,000 at one open house, right? How to make 50K at your next open house. It's a real strategy. It's on my podcast. I'll show it to you in a moment. But leverage the house, everybody. Like, we do this, list it and move on to the next sale. I'm telling you, there is gold to be had in every one of these listings that you have. So as you heard, Colby told you, I went in, I sold for 10 years. We had 3,000 agents. I was in the top 20 of our company. I did not have a full-blown team. I had support staff, but I was, a top agent selling. I mean, that's just what I did. And I loved it. And I probably had 75 sales my best year. And I knew that I wanted to have a national speaking coaching consulting company one day. So I chose to go into management. Howard Hanna Real Estate came from Pittsburgh. They bought the Cleveland company that I worked at. And I started managing and leading offices. And then I led the west side of Ohio, probably right around 800 agents. And we did about 2 billion actually in sales. The same strategy I used as an agent, this GoldMine Pipeline system, I taught all my agents. And that's how we grew. We grew like over $1.5 billion in I don't even know, like 4 or 5 years. And it was a blast. And so I left there. I started Sherri Johnson Coaching and Consulting. We have been, I've been really, really blessed. I was national speaker for homes.com for 3 years. And then, lots of big companies hired us to be a preferred coach for them. So one of which was BHHS. And I tell you that
general admission. I mean, VIP,
Sorry, I'll make sure that's muted.
that's okay. I tell you this mainly so I have some like I've actually sold houses, number one. And B, I know how hard you work. All I do is help agents literally work less and make more. That is a strategy and it works. Okay. This pipeline system is going to help you do that. You can scan this. I'll show it to you again later. You want to hear what I say first, but no, you can just download, scan my digital card. Lots of different downloads are available in there. You can connect with me, text me, whatever. You can get the GoldMine Pipeline is also in there. It'll be sent into your inbox in a few minutes. I will get to the pipeline and literally show you today how to do it. Okay. The first thing I want to tell you, and here's the podcast. We were number 35 on Apple Podcasts for marketing. I was in an elevator. This woman said, "Hey, you're Sherri Johnson. I recognize your voice." I was at NAR and I just gotten done running. And I was like in a baseball hat. She heard me on the phone and I said, "Oh, you must listen to my podcast if you know my voice." And she said, "I not only listen to your podcast, Sherri Johnson, I've sold 5 houses from your podcast." So take a listen. This podcast is about 320 episodes on it. I'm launching a new podcast in the next couple of months to go in line with my new book. And I'll be sure to make sure you know how to get that as well. But what's in here is gold. There's no fluff. I'm unapologetically direct. I will tell you what to say, what not to say, how to do it, right? How to get results and how to make the most of every single thing you're doing. I mean, you will love it. It's just good, solid, straight talk. And I think, people say to me from different, having coached with other people or whatever, is that everyone knows what they're supposed to do. And my systems and strategies actually tell you how to do it. I think that's our biggest strength. So we do have a thing called the Sherri Johnson Academy. I'm not sure how that slide was in there. Sorry, but this is where the stuff is all housed. You get a 7-day free trial on sherrijohnson.com. You can check it out. It's free for 7 days. It's like $49 a month. If you want to check that out, all the scripts, all the stuff, everything is in there. Now, I want you to realize that part of this system in GoldMine Pipeline is to help you realize that you can't just work on in your business. You're always working in your business, going on appointments, filling out forms, filling out a removal of contingency. I get it. Putting up a sign, a lockbox, whatever. All of that busy work, sort of in the whirlwind of doing the business has to be done. I get it. Okay. But how can you go on more appointments, doing A-level work, filling your pipeline with potential business on purpose, being more proactive instead of reactive? And then in my life, I love to say, play more offense than defense. Like, I know that your day changes because you weren't expecting to show a property later this afternoon at 10 a.m. and now you are, or an offer came in or something. But we have to have an offensive game plan to make this happen. Okay. Meaning I'm running my entire sales team. I'm running the sales events. I'm running the appointments. I have to have a lead generation system. It has to work. I have to have leads in the pipeline. I'm not going to sell anything. And so often we get caught up in the I hope people call, and hope is great, but hope is not attached to action at all. Hope is a great virtue. I have hope. My son, I hope for my kids. I have a lot of hope. I love hope. But hope isn't going to put deals on the board. When we track and measure anything, it improves. When you track and measure how many calls you're making, how many appointments you're going in, how many people are on your pipeline, it will improve. When you do that, and then add the word accountability or add any type of accountability to someone else, another human being, your improvement exponentially grows. It grows even faster, right? It's like me sitting in bed and saying, "Oh, I don't have to run 5 miles today because I did it yesterday. I ran 7 miles yesterday, so I'm good today." I did that this morning, I'll be honest. I was like, it's Monday, tired, Super Bowl. I knew I should have gotten up so now I'm going to do it later, okay? But I still have to do it. If we grade our own papers, we're going to say, "Oh, Sherri, I just had 4 closings," or I have 3 under contracts. That's great. My concern is that you don't know where the next 4 are coming from. Do you? Like this is always the case. Like I sat in my condo flipping out after that first month, like, all right, I have five sales. Where are my next 5 coming from? Okay. Because we're only as good as our last sale. We've heard that phrase. It's actually true. Okay. So in case I forget to say this, after you sell something, after someone chooses you and says, you're going to list my house and we're going to work with you and we're hiring you, in those moments of winning, that's when you go and you make 5 to 10 more calls right then, like right there. Stop everything and go make calls because you are on fire. Your energy is like totally amazing, right? Your confidence is up. So I had this guy, I was selling printing. And I was like, oh, I had a sale, you know, and I'm running through the lobby or the office building of my dad's company. And the guy who sells, 90 some $1 million says, hey kid, are you celebrating? And I said, yes. I was like, yes, I have a big deal. It's $100,000 print job. And he says, great. He said, stop celebrating and go make 10 more calls right now. And I was like probably 24 years old. And I was like, oh, okay. So I went and did it. And I brought that into my real estate practice and it works, right? We have to have more business always. Otherwise you have a roller coaster ride. We're going to get rid of that today. So I want you to look at, do you have it's a very simple business plan. This is not like, we're not writing a dissertation for, master's degree. We are literally writing out a to-do list and we're following it every week. That's it. Just want you to play more offense than defense, which means you're getting more things done to make sure you have new business every single month. Okay. Like real estate is flexible. And the greatest thing about real estate is it's flexible. The worst thing about real estate, when you all agree, is that it's flexible. And so we're going to do the thing and then we're going to go to Pilates and I'm going to get coffee and then I'm going to run an errand. And then the next thing you know, you're like, I didn't do the thing Sherri Johnson told me to do. Okay. So if you want big numbers, which we're going to talk about today, you got to have a plan and we have to be disciplined to follow it. I talk a lot about time blocking because it works and it works for me fabulously. It works for your personal life, your professional life. It's the highest dollar producing time you block out. Okay. And that just means you're going to be successful. Okay. Like purpose is a great alarm clock, like wake up every day and jump out of your bed. Like I am going to do this. And great things will happen, but you have to know what that is. Like if we're not intentional, we're just kind of going through the motions. I just got off a call with a group that I coach and one of the agents was like, I'm going to do, I want 75% listings and 25% buyers this year. I'm switching the numbers. Like it's always 25 listings and 75% of his sites are buyer sites. He's switching that. Maybe that's you. Maybe you're going to say, you know what? Sherri Johnson just told me I could do anything as long as you have a plan and you literally have to be the first one to say it. The power of one listing is this, right? Like listings bring more listings, right? Look at the bottom. I should turn 3 to 5 more sales from each listing. I did it. I had 4 at my first. And that wasn't an anomaly. We have to stop saying, oh, that never happens. It can happen if we are intentional and we put in an intentional plan that's on purpose. The best thing about listings, right? It's a yard sign. There's a billboard with your name on it for the entire world to see, right? So many more things come out of being the list side. Not to mention your hours of the day, like your time. We know this, okay? Master and perfect how you speak to a seller. Get over the scariness of like, oh, they're mean. They want more for that. No, like learn how to work with a seller and you will control the market. You will control your income, you'll control your time, and you'll be so thankful because all the buyers come if you're the listing agent, right? Every top agent is a listing agent. Be honest with me, right? Like that's the truth. Okay. So we want to maximize every sale and have this intentionality of saying, I'm going to sell 3 to 5 houses off of every sale. Who has a listing appointment right now in the next 7 to 10 days? Raise your hands. I'm going to go look in the chat. Raise your hands. Do you have a listing appointment in the next 7 to 10 days? Anybody? Anybody have a listing?
I do.
Awesome. Awesome. Some of you might have 2. How many of you have a listing appointment in the next 7 to 10 days and you just don't know the address yet? Right? Like every hand goes up right now. Okay. And here's what I'm going to tell you. You have to say, and I love that you put this in the chat already. Okay. Eva, are you selling a house today? It's like we're on the same.
I wanted to throw that in there because people say that to me and they like, or used to catch me off guard. And I'd be like, well, I don't know. Instead of saying I'm showing a house today, I realized I should be saying I'm selling a house today.
That's
Yes,
right.
I am selling a house today, and when you look at money, making money, that's what prompted me to think of that line you had in there. Are you making money
Yes.
today? If I'm not selling a house, I'm not making money today.
And listen, here's the thing. Like usually I go like this. Did I make any money today?
Right.
And my watch. I don't know why I hit the watch. I've been a sales trainer for 28 years. Did I make any money today? And the question is, you have to say to yourself, you have to say, I have a listing or a sale this week. I just don't know the address yet. Okay. Now think about it. It was just January last year, the end of the year, when you started the year in January and you said, I'm going to sell 52 houses this year, one a week. Did you say to yourself, yeah, like we don't know the addresses when we make that statement, we have no idea what the addresses are going to be. I want them to all be over like 650 or 850 or whatever the great spot, the upward sale price that you want to get to. Okay. But think about it. Think about it. I can send you the slides. I mean, they're not on the QR code currently, but we can get to the slides. So think about that. I have a listing or sale this week. I just don't know the address. Why is that so important? Because your mindset determines everything, everybody. Why are you doing this business? Like, what's your why? What are you doing with the money, right? Are we using it to fund the life? Yes, I was in the beginning, and later it became different. It became a different purpose. Okay, today I want to change everybody's lives and help them build a legacy. That's my why. Yes, you have goals you have to hit for whatever. You're paying off debt, paying for someone's college like I am. Maybe you want to buy a new house. Maybe you want to travel more or build wealth or give to a charity. I don't know, but I need you to know what those are. Okay. Once you know what that is, it's really simple. Now we know what drives us. Now we know we need a quick business plan. I mean, I want you to think like so big that you have to say, oh, this is a 3-year plan. It's a 2-year plan. I can get to that number in 2 years. We had somebody join us in coaching a couple of years ago, and she like 5 now, gosh. And Melinda, she caught me on the treadmill. I don't know how. The call came through, it transferred to my phone, and it was a Saturday morning. And I said, she goes, I got an email from you that said I could triple my business. Is that possible? I said, yeah, absolutely. She said, I did 3 million and I would like to do 9 million. And I said, done. And by the time we got off that call, she had been told it would never happen by, unfortunately, her manager, which is ridiculous, but her top agent in her office had done 9 million. So that's all the manager knew. Melinda did 8.5 million that year. Okay. She increased by $5.5 million. And she was like, I didn't get to 9. And I said, it doesn't matter. I have you at 12 now. The 9 got you to 8.5 million. Right? I have you now at 12. And she did 11.5 million, right? We're now at 24 million. Nah, this girl. Okay. She's a goal of 24 million for this year, selling 70 some transactions. I mean, it's really just a mindset of what you have to do to know what your numbers are. How many houses do I have to sell to make the income I want to make? That's it. That's how we're doing. And then we're going to say, what's the action plan for getting there? Part of that's going to be this pipeline. So what would you do if you knew you wouldn't fail? Like what kind of income would you put on this? Like a lot of people just sell themselves short, and it makes me crazy. I was in Atlanta at a client that I coached in Georgia. And I saw an agent, and I was like, Keisha, what's your goal this year? And it was like middle of January. And she said, well, last year I did 6.9. So this year I'm going to do 9 million. And I looked at her, I said, why so low? Like, what's up? What's going on with that? And she said, is it low? And I said, well, you're 7 million to 9 million. That's $2 million increase. Your average sale price is 500,000. So what you're telling me is you're going to only increase by 4 units over a 12-month period. I said, that seems kind of easy to do. Couldn't you do 12 more units? 1 more a month? And she was like, oh, I didn't look at it that way. I said, no, because 2 million seemed harder. Look at it as 1 more unit a month. So we sat down, we recalibrated our numbers. We reset the goal to 14 million. She closed 12.5. It's just how you think, right? You have to be like, you have to say, no one gets excited over average goals. I mean, I don't. We have been told forever, oh, that's crazy. That's not safe. Let's keep it safe. Let's be realistic. It's not the case. I don't think that's the case at all. I actually think it prohibits us from reaching our full potential. See, the greatest thing about coaching is that I'm not making people great. You're already great. I'm just bringing out the greatness that you have in you. You have the potential. You have to tap into it. That's what we do. We just tap into it. What is this? I love this mindset definition. Think it into existence. Like, come on. Are we operating in a mindset of scarcity or abundance? And I guarantee if I asked all of you right now, how many people you're working with, buyers and sellers, you would all tell me I have about 3 to 5 buyers and sellers that I'm currently giving my time and attention to. And that would be it. It wouldn't be, I have, 24 listing leads and 27 buyer leads. No, you are only giving your time and attention to a small amount of people who you think are going to do something right now. And that's great, I guess, if they all buy and you want to like just have 3 people at a time. Here's the problem. If they don't buy, you have a 0 for income, you have a 0 for sales, you have a 0 for listings, and that's not okay. We set some really big goals. We're about to. You have a scarcity issue in that you don't have enough people on the pipeline. Okay. If you're walking around saying this is going to be a tough year, it's going to be, right? Your mindset determines what you do. Your attitude determines your altitude, which all of that combined determine your end results. So I want you to think like, if you did sell those people, all 3 of them in 1 month, that would be great for 1 month. Then we're where? Down here, we spend 6 weeks closing those deals. We don't prospect. And then roller coaster ride starts all over again. We start and stop and start and stop. And really, like, to tell you, like, GoldMine Pipeline eliminates that. This roller coaster ride it's like this now. Okay, up, up, up. $5,000 a month, 10 grand a month, 15 grand a month. It's awesome. I just had an agent in California call me. She was freaking out. She's like, I have to make money. I've got a second kid on the way. I can't do they're making me go back to work in person and I can't do daycare and I have to sell houses. And this woman went from $40,000 a year to making 15 to 20 a month. I want you to write that down. Okay. Whatever you're making, whatever you made last year, I want you to double it and say, I can do this. You can not only do it, but if you're at $40,000, $50,000, $80,000 job, and we were to take you to making $10 or $15 or even $20,000 a month, that's a life-changing occurrence, and I love it. All right. Sometimes we gotta just look at my belief in myself. Where is that? Do I have the confidence to say I can do this? Like sales aren't down. I love this phrase. Your belief in you is. I mean, sometimes it's just like I gotta have this like I can do anything, and then boom, it's gonna start happening. In fact, this next slide I love, change your perspective and change your life. Like the only way I've ever, done anything, running a half marathon or whatever, is by changing the way I think. Like I never thought I could run 13 miles. I never wanted to until I ran 8. And then I was like, what's another 5? So you might be plateauing yourself into, I don't do that because I'm not so-and-so in the office, or those people have all the good, whatever, leads, or they get whatever. I don't know what you tell yourself. I want you to tell yourself that you are just as capable as every single top agent in your marketplace or wherever it is you want to go. Okay. Because this is it. I mean, you got to say, I am already sold myself. I love this. IASM at the end of the word enthusiasm is like, I am already sold myself. I need you to feel that way. I need you to say, I can do anything, especially now that I have this GoldMine pipeline. So I'm going to share with you. We have a pipeline system. We put it on a piece of paper and a fillable that you'll get. We also have a spreadsheet that's in Google Sheets that makes it real easy. So it adds it up automatically, etc. Okay. This one agent had normally done $18 to $22 million a year. She joined us in coaching this year, or I guess like it was in the middle of last year. And she filled this out and she had never looked at all the potential leads ever. And we did what we're about to do with you. And what came out of it was $10 million in listing potential, $20 million in buyers, 5 currently on the market, 5 million with the name, her name in the yard. 4.3 in current closings. 14 million was her year-to-date closed for a grand total of $54 million. Okay. So I'm showing you this first, and then we're going to go through what's the pipeline? How does it work? Why does it work? This is what we're talking about. Someone who's at 18 to 22 million has a $54 million pipeline. And when she started coaching, she said, I really want to make $1 million. That's my goal, whether that takes a year or 2 years. That's pretty amazing, right? Look at the numbers. Gross commission, the GCI potential is $1.5 million. You will close about 80 to 85% of what's on the pipeline. That's a pretty good pipeline, wouldn't you say? Now, so many of you have so much more on the pipeline than you even know. I want you to write down 3 numbers. One is the income you have to make, or you're not doing real estate, okay? What is the number you have to make? And sometimes this number is literally the number that is your bottom number for your life, your family, whoever, you know, if you're the secondary income, you're the primary income, you're the only income. That number might be the thing that is the one that's like, this is the lowest I can ever go. Or some of you will say to me, agents will say to me, well, this is what I made last year and I never want to go below that again. So I'm good with either one. Put either one down. It's your list. It's your number. I'm just here to support you and help you do this. So the great number is going to be the goal you had before you met me. Okay, that's the number you probably were like, oh, 2025. This is going to be the year I do this, X, whatever. Whether it's income, this one's income. I want you to focus on the money you make. Yes, the volume's awesome, but the income part is probably like what you actually keep. I think that's the most important. So that's a great number, right? And then the sky's the limit, the amazing, crazy high number that's like, wow. So sometimes these numbers, depending on where you are, location-wise, whether you're West Coast, whether you're Florida, you could be in Dallas, you could be New York, Boston, wherever you are, Midwest, doesn't matter. You all have your own number based on your average sale price, okay? So I'm just going to put a couple in here that I see a lot. Like I see 100 for the number, the have to. I see, you know, 250 for the great. And then people are like, oh my gosh, am I really writing 500,000? Yes, we write $500,000 down. And now we're like, okay, what does it look like to sell and make that kind of money? I don't know. We're going to figure that out right now. Super easy. Okay. This is the part that takes you to the next level. Thank you, Colby, for putting in the chat. This is exactly what will take you to the next level. Okay. Your must number drops. Great. Falls down into being your must. And then you set a new high goal. And this is how you do it. This is just how we do it in coaching. This is how I've always done it. And it works really, really well. Okay. If you put those numbers down, and let's just hypothetically say that you sell, let's say you make $10,000 a deal for my example, because it's pretty easy, right? If I want to sell and make $100,000, I make $10,000 a deal, I need 10 transactions. For 250, I need 25. And for 500,000, I need 50, right? I just did that real quick, easy math. Some of you make more per transaction, some of you maybe less. Adjust, modify. I need you to know how much you make per deal. And then we're going to divide that out by the total number of income levels you want to make. Okay. Now this is really simplified in some of our business planning forms. I'm not going to go through all of those with you, but I will tell you that, where's this one? So that's 23. So there is a document we have that actually takes you through all of the steps, right? What do I make per deal? What's my average commission per transaction? What do I make takeaway? Not what I split with my broker. If you're at a broker and you have to give them whatever, take that out. Track that, by the way, but take it out. Okay. We're only talking about what you make per deal and then dividing it by the total earnings that you want to make. So do you make, you know, I love when people say, I only have to sell that many more to make 350. Yes, that's what we're talking about. Okay. What does one more transaction do for you? If you make $10,000 a transaction and you sell 12 more houses, it's another $120,000. That's a lot more money, right? So I want you to think about it and reverse engineer it differently than That's impossible for me to even think like that. Okay. Because it isn't impossible. It's actually completely possible. I see it every single day. You're going to divide by what you want to make. So take 350,000, divide it by 8,700. That's what you make, right? I want to make 350. I make 8,700 per deal. I need 40 deals. Divide that by 12. I need like 3.3, 3.5 deals per month. I'm going to wait that out and not have a half a sale. We'll actually make that work. The numbers, 4 deals a year would be 48 transactions. By the way, you could do it this way too. 48 transactions times 8,700, $417,000. So we have to know where we're going. And here's what happens when you fill this out and then you fill out your GoldMine pipeline, you're probably going to come back to these numbers and say, wow, they're actually kind of low. That's kind of a great feeling, isn't it? Because here's what's going to happen. You are going to say, wow, I actually shortchanged myself. I can make way more than this. Okay. It's very cool. Every time you see a for sale sign, 2 to 3 more signs are coming up in the next 3 to 12 months. Okay. So every house you list, it's not a coincidence that 3 months later or 6 months later, a sign goes up. I want those signs to all have your logo, your name on them, right? Because they can, and they will, now that you know this. We don't need to pay a company, Home Genius or whatever. I'm sure they're nice people, but like, I know this because I study it. Every time you sell a house in a neighborhood, 2 to 3 more people are thinking about moving, which is why it's so important to microfarm that neighborhood and go after it now, because those people will eventually move. I want you to be the one that gets that. So it's all about a new strategy, really. Just how do you look at the strategy to begin with? How can you think I'm going to sell 1 more house a month? Do you even ever think that way? What does that do to your life? I bet it's a big game changer. I know it is, especially, if you make 15 grand a deal, 12,000, whatever, 8, doesn't matter. I want you to think differently than the way Keisha did. 4 more transactions for the whole year. I think that's selling ourselves short. I think we're way more capable than that. Okay. So don't settle for safe. I mean, again, no one gets excited when you 10x something. It's totally different than a 10% increase. 10% increase. If you ever read Grant Cardone, the 10x rule, which he didn't make, but he wrote an awesome book about it. The 10x rule is so different than 10% increase. A 10% increase on 10 is 1. But if you 10 times 10, it's 100. So what if you were to look differently at your business and say, you know what, I can do that. I just need to fill the pipeline. So we know that this system right here, the sales conversion process, is how we find people. They come to us, people we know, people we don't know. We realize they have a need for real estate. They become a lead or a new client opportunity, I like to call it. At that moment, we're supposed to add a lot of value so that they choose us. And at that precise moment, I need you to get an appointment with these people immediately. Not wait 6 months. I want you to meet with them immediately. The person who gets the first appointment, 82% of the time will get that listing. So when you hear someone say, we're not moving for 6 months, okay, I'm not going anywhere, right? And actually, I do a little silent cheer and I say, thank God I need business 6 months from now. Like, you all need business a year from now. So instead of saying, oh, they're not ready, I'm not going to call them. Yes, start to cement the relationship with those people now. That's way different than how you've looked at a lead in the past. I know it is, okay? Because I know how you work. I know how you think. We are not going to write a contract if we're not on appointments. I need to say this for the 80th time. We have to have appointments in the calendar or nothing's going to happen, okay? Now, how many times have you not followed up with somebody? Are we till the top of the hour, Colby? I meant to ask you.
Yeah, we are.
Okay.
Yep.
That's all. Perfect. I have this phrase, and somebody wrote in there that, they were like, oh, I don't like that phrase about we're only as good as our last sale. Here's one that I hope gets your attention, everybody. Opportunities aren't lost. They go to someone else. Now, why would I remind you of that? Well, here's the deal. Those people you didn't follow up with because they said they weren't serious or they seemed like tire kickers, or I don't even know what that phrase is. The people you met at an open or you talked to them and they were like, oh, we're not moving for a while, whatever. How many times did we not follow up with somebody only to see a sign in their yard? Who knows this one, right? Sign in their yard, or worse off, you see it in MLS. And you're just like, Sherri, how could you hit me in the side with a baseball bat? I want you to be aware that that is a real thing. And it just didn't happen twice. Add up how many times it's happened over the course of your career. I'm doing this for your own good. I never want this to happen anymore. GoldMine Pipeline will eliminate the fact that this keeps happening. We keep discounting people that are really good leads. There's no such thing as a bad lead, okay? Unless someone wants to commit fraud or something. That's a horrible lead. We're not working with those people. But think about it. We discount people who aren't ready, and it's the worst thing that we could do. I'd rather you have 60 people on the pipeline and work those 60 people than try to call 350 people a week. Calling 350 people a week is exhausting and awful. And there are coaches out there that say, if people ghost you after the third call, dump them and move on. It is not my strategy. Actually, my strategy is to stick with them, stay with them, build a relationship with these people, meet them where they are, add value, and know that you're building future business and you're guaranteeing yourself business 6, 8, 10, 12, 18 months from now. Like, wouldn't it be awesome for all of us on this call to be like, wow, it's February 10th. And Colby, you already know that in June, you're going to have 4 listings and 4 sales. Wouldn't that be awesome? And like roll it down to like, take it out to August, September, October, November, even January of next year. I can, with precise prediction, guarantee that if you fill this pipeline, you will never have a dry month ever again. So the name of my book is called The Long Game, because the strategy plays the long game. I want you to meet with people and meet them where they are and say, okay, no worries. I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to come and see your house now. Obviously, I'm not listing it, but I can help you get it ready, right? I can save you a lot of time and money before you hire a contractor, before you try to do it yourself. I know what materials people like and don't like. In fact, that slate floor in your back hall, I'm going to tell you to keep it. Buyers love slate. We're going to save that money and put it somewhere else in your house for a faster sale, or better yet, even put it in your pocket. And people are like, oh, and you say, yeah, you need me now. You actually need me 6 months before you put the house on the market. So what's better for you, Thursday at 5 or Saturday at 10? Because I'm coming, right? And you get the appointment and you go now. And then you cement the relationship, and the dog that doesn't like anybody loves you, right? Everybody loves you. You're like, dog loves me. Everybody loves me. List your house with me eventually. Like, I even say to people, you know what, Kathy, I'm not coming over to list your house. I'm gonna eventually, right? Right? But not this weekend. But I want to help you. And then we're going to do this. And we're going to have a relationship. And 82% of the time, you're the one who's going to get that listing. But we are on this roller coaster ride and we have to get off of it. The roller coaster ride is partly to do with, you can scan this to get the ebook and the GoldMine Pipeline PDF fillable. The part that we don't realize is that we don't have enough people. If I could put 40 to 60 leads on your pipeline, 20 buyer leads, 20 listing leads, boom, you've got a pipeline. You don't even know how much it is. We're going to do that right now. That's what we're talking about. Creating predictable and consistent monthly income. And I just saw the word predictable spelled wrong. Wow, I've never seen that. So I want you to build predictable and consistent monthly income, not the roller coaster ride. The roller coaster ride is horrible. It's not fun. It's stressful. It's like white knuckling it. I mean, here's what happens when you're on that and you only have one closing, and people have to kick in money, right? What happens? You're like, I have to kick in money, Sherri, because I got to make sure this deal closes. And that's not fun. It's extremely stressful, right? How do you live like that? I mean, it's awful, right? I call it it's like desperate selling, and it's not fun. So if you had, 15 or 30 other leads on the pipeline, you're going to feel so much more relaxed, so much more comfortable. We're going to talk about nurturing the leads in one moment. How often? I'm sure that's what you're asking, like what methods and how often. Let me show you how to first fill this thing out, and then we'll cover that real quick. Eva. Your first page is just listing leads. I want you to monetize the value of every single lead in your pipeline. You've never done this before. You have a whiteboard in your office. I get it. I had one too. I love whiteboards, but they don't monetize the way this does. If you could imagine 10 listing leads, okay? Eva, what's your average sale price?
We run the gambit because we do really high and really low sales, but right now it's about 650.
All right, let's say I'm going to run with 650 for my example. Imagine this, $650,000 average sale price. I have 10 listing leads, just the list side. I'm not commingling the buy and the list. It's just the list side only. 10 times 650 is 6.5 million in potential listings like that. Just boom, right? We have 6.5 million in listing opportunities right now. I have 10 listing leads. All of us know 10 people who are moving in the next 2 months to 2 years. This is where we get jammed up. You only want the really good A leads right now. And not all leads are A leads when you meet them. They're B and C leads, and that's okay. So an A lead would be somebody moving in the next 60 days, buying or selling. It's on the sheet, by the way, so you don't have to worry about writing this down. A B lead would be up to 6 months, and a C lead would be over 6 months. Okay, so you have 10. Who can't find 10 people that are moving in the next 2 months to 2 years? We all can, okay? We all have 10 people at least. Those same 10 people are probably going to buy a replacement home from you. So now we have on the buy side, 10 buy sides averaging 650, another 6.5 million. And now if I add those up, I have 20 potential transactions. I have $13 million in the pipeline. Is everybody with me? It's pretty cool, isn't it? All right, now I'm going to take it to 20 listing leads at 650 average is $13 million. Boom, just like that. Just like that. 13 million in potential listing leads. 20 buyer leads, another 13 million. And now I have a $26 million pipeline. Okay. Is everyone with me? Because this is the best part of the whole exercise is adding it up. You are going to feel like a rock star. Actually, you're going to feel like the rock star you already are. You just didn't know it. Okay. Everybody's eyes get big. Here's the cool thing. You have business you don't even know you have. Like you haven't even gone through the way. I'm going to show you where to go find these leads in a minute. All right.
You know, Sherri, can I just jump in 1 second?
Of course.
The thing that's coming to mind when you're talking about this is I look at my lead list and I perceive it to be this long, cumbersome bunch of people that may never buy kind of thought. I don't know, it just bugs me. And yet, if I could actually put a dollar amount like you're suggesting next to the people, then all of a sudden this list is worth real money. And it's a different thought process, I think. You're on mute right now, Sher.
You're exactly right. And this is
Thank you for that.
Yes, you're welcome. And this is the part that I don't know another coach or person that's like monetizes the value to this extent. And what it does is you could build, now you understand the title of my session, build a 5, 10, 15, you all have 5 million, please. I guarantee it. Most of you have twice as much or 3 times as much as you usually sell. So if you're an agent right now who sells 8 million typically a year, guess what? You probably have 16 to 20 million sitting there. You've never monetized it. You've never just what Eva said, assigning a value to each lead. Okay. Because literally I have my first one, it's framed and it's behind me. It's hilarious. Okay. It's like $3.5 million. And I did 3.8 million my first year. But here's the thing. And then I did 14 million. You could do whatever it is you want. You just have to put it on the paper. We do this all over the country with teams, with agents. You want to do 20 million? I'll tell you exactly how many leads you need to have on your pipeline. It's that simple. So I'm going to take you, I call it the like GoldMine Pipeline because you're sitting on a gold mine. Okay. Like you are literally sitting on a gold mine of potential business that you don't even realize you have because you've never added it up like this. I had the one that I showed you that was 54 million. That agent had been, she's 22-year veteran. She had been with a different company, coaching company, and they had like this next 8 or next 10 list, and it never added it up. So it said like Sherri Johnson, B/S. And I said, what does that mean? Like buy and sell? And she's like, yeah. I go, oh, okay. So we're taking away, kind of interesting. We've now done that in our work, in our compensation. We're decoupling it. We want to look at just the buyers, just the potential listings. And by the way, every single lead goes on here. If you think these people are moving and they haven't even said it yet, it goes on here. If you see on Facebook that somebody's got, empty nester now, right? They might be a client of yours, they might not. They go on the sheet. You don't need someone's permission to put them on the sheet. They don't have to be a bona fide lead. They can be anybody who says, potentially, we might move. Or you might know that they're moving and they don't even know yet. Another thing I want you to do is put down anybody who's a referral. So let's say, I'll give you the example. I was down at the Starbucks in Sugar Falls, Ohio, which is like a very New England town with a huge waterfall. It's very fun. It's very cute. It's very hallmarky. And I'm down there with my dog. And this guy who did IT work for me years ago was down there with his dog. I see him. There's no way. We're not even close, except for him to yell out, hey, my neighbor wants to move. Can you help her? And I said, absolutely. Yes. I said, I'll text you. So you know what usually happens? You forget. They forget. Nobody circles back on that. And you drive through Josh's neighborhood and you're like, oh, that's the house I probably was supposed to get. And you're like hitting yourself. So here's the deal. On your GoldMine Pipeline, a referral that you don't even know the name of the client yet, goes on here. Underneath the last name, I would put Josh's neighbor. 650, which it was. I wrote 650 because it's a up to $2 million neighborhood. I don't know if she's in $1 million house or a 7. I put 650. I assigned it a value and I put Josh's neighbor. Now this is going to remind me to call who? Josh. So now I call Josh and I say, hey, so great seeing you and your cute dog down in town. Who's your neighbor and how can I help her? What's her number? Because how many times do we forget? Those things fall through the cracks. We forget about it. It's never going to happen again. Okay. Now, the first page, all buyers. I'm sorry. First page, all listings. Second page, all buyers. And I'm going to tell you that this is like the Alaskan pipeline, right? It goes on forever into the year 2026. Like this is all part of the process, is to build a backlog of future people so that you are never doing this again. You're never selling a house, not selling a house. You'll have consistent, predictable income, which I love. I also call it scalable and then saleable, right? So if you can scale your business, why not? This is all part of working smarter, not working harder. This is just a better strategy, period. So all the people, first page, right at the top, potential listings. It's not very big. It's not very loud. Everyone tells me I should make this bigger. And then page 2, buyer leads, okay? Listing leads, buyer leads. A lot of the time, the same people, okay? Be aware that sometimes you might have, like I had this guy, Brad, he had 22 buyer sides and 3 listings. And I'm like, you have 22 first-time buyers or what's going on here? And he goes, no, they're not. I said, well, how many of these people have a house to sell? And he said, I don't know. He's like, at least half. And I said, well, okay, Brad. I said, put those people over on page 1, please. And the 3 ended up going to 14. All of a sudden he had 14 listing leads. It was like another $5 million we hadn't even accounted for that didn't hit his list side. So if you have a top heavy situation, here's how I look at it. Okay. It's a numbers game. I'm not treating people like a number ever, but I have to map it out. And you want you to look at every client and say, are they 2 sales or 1? Are they 3 sales? They each have a house and they're buying 1 together. That's 3 sales. They're going to be on here twice for listings, once for a buyer. Okay. Do you put rentals on here? People ask me that all the time. I mean, unless you're in a market where rentals bring you a lot of money in terms of the monthly rent, I don't want you working rentals, honestly. I'd rather you work sales. But if it is that, then you can make a page full of rentals. I also have people like on the list side make a page of expireds or a page of for sale by owners if that's really something you're going after. All right. The next 2 pages are awesome because it's going to have your current listings where you have your, name in someone's yard and the motivation level and what that volume is, your current closings, what's already written, and the closing pendings rather, not already closed, but current closings and how much that is. So let's say that on my 20 leads, I have 26 million. And then I have 6 million in listings. So I'm at 32 million. And then I have another 2 million in pending. So that takes me to 34 million. And then I've already closed $5 million year to date. So now my 34 goes to 39 million if it all came together. Like if it was the end of the year and everybody bought and everybody sold, this is what your total would be. That's pretty amazing, right? And I want you to take your pending alone. I'm sorry, your potential. So all potential business goes on here. The whole idea is this potential. I had an agent one time and I said, Sharika, are they going to put their house on the market? Will they list their house? And she was like, the slowest maybe I've ever heard. She's like, I mean, maybe if I find them a house. I'm like, the whole list is maybe. Like, I want all of you to not be like, I have to know whether you haven't even seen the house yet. You may not have even talked to these people about their house yet. You could go through all your open house leads. Never have even talked to these people in 2 months. Put them on here. Okay. I'll give you some pro tips on how to fill it real quickly. But look at just A's. If I were to just take out and extrapolate only the A's, wouldn't it be nice to see the next 2 months, which should shake out? Like if you're really being honest and these people are honest A's, like they're going to buy in the next 60 days, they're going to list in the next 60 days. This is what your pipeline is going to look like in the next 60 days. I mean, novel idea, is it not? Like we've never been able to forecast in real estate ever. I mean, it's just so great. Now you can actually, what about cash flow? You can rest easy. You'd be like, oh, this is all happening, or it should be. Okay. Then you look at A, B, and C, and notice on both of these charts, the closed year-to-date sales are on here as well, right here. Closed year-to-date, all A, and then closed year-to-date, plus your potential is everything, okay? The A, B, and C, all of it together. In the ebook, it'll sound like you're having a conversation with me. That's on purpose. I want you to follow it. I want you to look at it every day. Like you should be obsessed with this. This is your pulse of your business, is actually the income you're going to make. Okay. I hope you guys use it. I love it. It's literally a game changer. I don't say that word often. The goal is that if it's not full right now, this is as low as it's ever going to be. Okay. Because now you know that you just need to fill it. It's not going to stay low, as low as it's ever going to be ever, because now you know you can go fill it and make it happen. Now, I will tell you, you need 1.5 times the leads to hit the number that you want to sell. So if you want to sell 52 houses, we need 64 leads. Okay. 52 plus 27 or 26. Say you need 60 leads, right? Is that right? 70. I was doing 36. 36 sales. If you want to sell 36 sales, you will, here it is, 36 sales, I need 1.5. So I need 36 plus 18 would be 54 total leads. I'm going to round that up to 60. 30 listing sides, 30 potential buy sides. That's 60. That's going to shake out to, for sure, 36, probably closer to 41 to 50 even, okay? That's pretty cool.
Sherri,
Yeah.
I want to jump in because we're kind of at the end of the hour. And first, before people start dropping off, I want to say thank you so
Oh,
much.
sure.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I did. I just looked at it. It's 3 o'clock. Go ahead.
I wanted to say, if there was one tip you could give this group who maybe is saying, wow, this is really great and I'll never go hungry again in the future, but what do I do this minute to, get some business now? What's the quickest thing that you think somebody can do to get into motion now?
That has a pipeline or does not?
No, their pipeline feels dry. maybe they have a pipeline, they've been in the business for a long time, but they're just not seeing the numbers they want to see right now. And they really are in that place of, oh my God, I need to make blah, blah, blah by tomorrow. How am I doing that?
Yeah.
Is there one piece of advice you would give somebody like that? Not that I think anybody here is like that, but aren't we all?
No, you can, I want you to go into your past client list or your client list. I want you to go into your what we call agent statements, where you can go back and see all the people you've sold a house to and put those people on your pipeline and call them. At least you'll be starting to have conversations with them again if they're not interested in moving. And then here's the biggest tip. I do this thing called the 20-minute text sprint. It used to be 10 calls to 20 grand, which is where you call 10 people. So you can do this either way. You can call 10 people and make 20 grand, or you can do a 20-minute text sprint to 10 grand, right? So you're always making money by making these connections. If you go into your phones right now, we get off this call today, and you scour your phone, you will find a bunch of unengaged leads in there where you honestly, like, they're unengaged, right? You haven't talked to them. If you write them back, you'll have a listing or potentially a buyer showing appointment. These are leads that you just did. You showed them one house. They didn't rate you back. They became an unengaged lead. And lastly, I will tell you, all your open house sheets, go back to all your open house sheets and find the names of the people, because there are so many people right now that haven't been called. 75% of open house leads never get a follow-up call. That's insane to me. Okay. The other thing I would say is just go make it happen. Talk real estate with every single person you know, because listen, everybody, it just happens. You can go make your own appointments. You can go make your own success happen. It just requires that you literally get up and show up every single day and put it into action. A premium on action. But my biggest advice, Eva, is focus. Number one goal, we teach all of our agents in coaching, is to set a goal for listing appointments. Okay. If you hit that goal, maybe it's 15 conversations a week with people. You hit the listing appointment goal every week, you'll hit all your goals. Okay. But we just don't ever think, oh, I have to have a listing appointment goal. Anybody have any questions? If you want to stay on, I'll stay for another couple of minutes if you have a question. Anybody download the GoldMine Pipeline? Did you download it? Awesome. Okay, it should be in your inbox. Check your spam folder just in case. How many of you are going to do the pipeline and fill it out? Yeah? Awesome. I see some hands go up. If you need anything, you want to reach out to me, you can text me. I know that my digital card went into the chat, and I know that you're sending out a replay of this. So awesome.
Yeah, when we send around the replay, we can also include some of the links that you shared on this call, so people have them handy and they can connect with you and re-download things and etc. So, and if anyone has any questions, you can reach out to me and I can get you in touch with Sherri. But thank you so much, Sherri. This
You're
is really
welcome.
great.
Yeah. And Colby does a really good email to everybody with all of the information so that they really can connect as needed. Thank you all for being here. Sherri, it's such a pleasure to see you and have
thank
you
you.
on. Thank you for your time.
Don't forget you have a listing or sale this week. You just don't know the address. I'll see you all guys soon. Take care. Have a great listing and sales week.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone. Hi, Randy. Good to see you.
Yeah. Hi, Randy.
Hope everyone has a wonderful week. Bye.